If you're posting on YouTube right now and you're not seeing the results you want in terms of views, subscribers, and ultimately paid clients, you're probably making this one major mistake. And when you fix it, I'm 100% confident that it will explode your channel. The reason I'm so confident is I've done this exact same thing for myself and all the channels that I've worked on to hit, at this point, over 100 million views. And it's the same thing I did on this video to hit 100,000 views in less than 30 days. So in this video, we're gonna go over what exactly this thing is and why it is mandatory you use it on your channel in 2025. I'll give you my exact paint by numbers template so you get this right every single time. And then we'll finish off with a bonus tip that will take this entire concept and put it on steroids. So to really help you understand what this thing is, I want you to just close your eyes and imagine that you're on a cruise ship, right? You're there, vacation, business, whatever it may be. And then you, for some reason, have the ability to go up to the captain's deck and say, what's up to the captain? So you go into the deck, you're chatting with the captain, and then you ask the question, so, I'm looking around here, Mr. Captain, Captain John, where's the map? Like, how do you know where we're going? And imagine he says, I don't know. We're kind of just winging it. Your reaction to that captain is going to be a lot of things. You're going to be mad. You're going to be probably sad. You're going to be concerned. And then you want to figure out who the heck let this guy in here in the first place. Now, those emotions that you feel in this hypothetical situation is the exact way your viewers feel when you make a YouTube video that doesn't have a framework that is guiding them through the entire video from beginning to end. So if you haven't figured it out, this thing we're talking about is having a video script, or I like to call it a video framework because I don't want to give you like the step-by-step word for word thing to say because it becomes really robotic when you do it that way, but more of like, here is the 4 or 5 things that you should be hitting on every single video that you make. So we're actually gonna switch over to a screen share right here to where I'm gonna bring you through this entire framework. And again, this is what I use on literally every single YouTube video, but I want you to understand why it's so important that you follow a framework and really guide your viewers through. Is like any social media platform, YouTube, their main concern, their main metric that they're looking at is watch time, right? You can get a ton of clicks through and get a ton of views, right? But if people are not watching as much of the video as humanly possible, like that is where the videos truly go viral, right? Get that viral potential is you giving the sign to YouTube that not only are people clicking these videos, but you're also watching them all the way to the end. It's the main reason why Mr. Beast has exploded. If you look at the retention graphs on his videos, it's insane. He doesn't lose anyone in the beginning, and it's like 80-90% all the way through. So now that you understand how important it is, we're gonna go through my exact paint by number system here and show you. By the way, you can go to the first link down in the description below, and I'll just give you access to the entire page so you can go through it yourself. With that being said, let's just start off here with the goal of a good video. So obviously, any good video is going to start with a good intro. Now, the purpose of the first 5 to 7 seconds of any YouTube video is going to be you paying off the title and thumbnail, right? So again, I use Mr. Beast as an example a lot, but just think about any of his videos. If the title of the video is last person to take their hand off a Lamborghini or it would be a lot shorter, but it's like last person to leave circle wins $1 million, right? The first thing that he shows up in the video is it's a visual aspect of a big circle, and he says, the last person to leave this circle is gonna get $1 million, right? So it's like he directly pays that off because at the end of the day, like everyone is creating content now. So it's your job to make sure that you give the validation to the viewer that they have clicked on the right video. So again, at the beginning of this video, in the first 7 seconds, and this is gonna be a very like meta video because I'm doing all these same things as I'm teaching them to you. But what I said is, if you're posting on YouTube right now and you're not seeing the results that you want, I can guarantee you you're doing this thing wrong. Now, the title of this video is gonna be, I'm gonna play around with different variations, but it's gonna be like massive mistake YouTubers make, or you're doing this wrong on YouTube, something along those lines, so that when they read the title and thumbnail, right, you click this video, the reason you click this video and have watched up to this point is because I validated those things and I'm following this framework. So consider you being here on this video proof that this framework works. So anyway, that is going to be really the important part there. So massive thing here, do not start your videos with your name and welcome and blah, 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 right? Well, what's going on? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Do not do that. If you do that, I'm going to figure out where you live because it gives like YouTube 2010. Really. And it just wastes people's time, right? Like as a lot of times, if your video shows up on the homepage, no one cares about you, right? That's a little harsh. No one knows who you are, so that they're not going to care about your name or whatever. They just care about why they saw your video in the first place, right? So actually on this document, you can click through to this video, which is one of my old YouTube channels, the remote closing page that I grew to about 40,000 subs. And we were doing about 400 grand a month from this YouTube channel. So like you can just go through some of those videos and you can see really what I'm looking for there. So on these intros, like all the side stuff out of the way, the first thing we start with is a hook. There's a couple different ways that you can do this. You can do, one of my favorites, which I do on the majority of videos, is literally start off with like in this video. So you'd say, in this video, I'm gonna show you insert thing, right? So in this example, in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how to create a full-time income by becoming a high-ticket remote closer. That's just the example that I use there. In this one, I did a little bit more of like a storytelling hook or like a problem hook, right? So it's like, if you're posting on YouTube right now, but you're not seeing the results that you want, right? I'm starting with like the pain point. So I don't have that one written here, but it kind of falls into this. And then it's kind of a mixture of these two here, right? So that's the first one. The question hook could be like, hey, have you ever wondered how 17-year-old kids are making $10,000 to $20,000 per month by taking simple phone calls? If I did a question hook for this video, it could be like, have you ever wondered, or are you someone that's been posting consistently on YouTube? You just haven't seen the results that you wanted. This is the major reason why, right? That would be the question hook. And then you have the storytelling hook, which to be honest, I don't use this one as much. I definitely need to test doing it a little bit more just because storytelling I think is really big. But with this one, with this exact same idea would be, 5 years ago, I was broke, making no money, trying to provide for my family. And it all changed for me when I found high ticket closing and was able to buy my dream house. In this video, so it kind of transitions into in this video, right? So in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how to do the same thing and follow in my footsteps. So I don't know why Grammarly is yelling at me for these, for these little things here, but we're gonna roll with it. So that's the first thing that you do is, everyone talks about the hook and whatnot, but it's very important you start with the hook. Then we're gonna jump into teasing the information or a transitional phrase. So what this means is you're basically setting the stage, back to the analogy of like being the boat captain, right? The main thing that the person needs to know is that you're bringing them through this journey and then you're kind of like checking off the boxes. So, and what this does is it makes it like really digestible for a person versus like if they see a video that's like 30 minutes long and then it's just someone that sits there and just starts talking, is they don't feel anything of like, oh, we're like getting through the video, right? So the way that I like to start this off is I'll say, in this video, we're gonna cover 3 things. Or, we say we're gonna cover a few things in this video. Or you would say, here's what you're gonna learn from this video. And then you list these things off. So in this example, and I'll just pull up my example again here for a second, is in mine, the way that I did it at the beginning of this video, I said, in this video, we're gonna go over what this thing is and why it's crucial to use it, right? So, and then, I'll give you my exact paint by numbers template to get this thing right every single time. And then we'll finish off with a business tip or a bonus tip that will put this concept on steroids. So I didn't say like, number 1, we're gonna do this, number 2, we're gonna do this, number 3, we're gonna do this. You can do that. I think that's important because you're creating that journey for these people. But basically you're just giving an idea of what you're going to cover, right? So again, an example, it would say, in this video, we're gonna talk about, and I'm using the remote closing example, we would say, we're gonna talk about about if you should start as an appointment setter or a closer. Number 2, what types of offers are out there for you to sell. And then number 3, how much money that can be made. So just from the sheer fact of that is people are checking off in their head. They're like, okay, cool, I'm gonna learn this, I'm gonna learn this, I'm gonna learn this. Now this thing here, some people like to say, if you just stay to the end, I'll give you the best thing here. Now I kind of did that, right? But I didn't, like I said, and we'll finish off with a bonus tip that will put the concept on steroids. So I basically what I did is I teased the information, but I say it in a way that makes you want to stay to the end versus me physically saying like, and if you stay to the end, I'm gonna give you the best thing. I just think it's cheesy, right? Because it's just like everyone does it. And again, it's just very 2010 YouTube. So a little hint here is you wanna start off with your best tip first, or one of your best tips first if you're doing like a tip video, right? Because what's gonna happen is if you give like really obvious stuff up front, right? You've probably seen videos like this before. It's like 15 things that I wish I knew before blah, blah, blah. And like the first tip is like, I need to get good sleep, or I need to put in the work, right? You're gonna kind of like assume because the first tip was bad, you're just gonna be like, well, I don't even think it's worth staying around for this. So you wanna give like the really juicy stuff at the front anyway. And it's gonna a lot of times help with retention. I mean, basically almost every single time. So 2.5 here is what I like to call the interest peak, which essentially what it is it's a transitional phrase from 2 to 2.5. And then it's also going to add interest, right? So for example, you can do a testimonial or a result, and interest peak, a lot of times you can just, this could also be called like, interest peak or like results, right? Or like, social proof, right? Because because what you want the audience to understand is, okay, cool. Here's the thing, right? Intro, here's what you're going to learn. And then here's why you should listen to me based on this other person, like outside source. Now, it doesn't always have to be an outside source, but a lot of times, like, it's more credible if you can say, I helped this person do this, or here's this result, right? So example would be, this is the exact same process John did to get to his first $10,000 a month in just 30 days. Or you would say, by the end of this, I promise you're going to have the exact step-by-step process to get your first remote closing gig in just 30 days. So this one here, right, this appointment setting video, it's an example. Again, click the first link down below and you'll link over to this, but it's an example of some of the stuff you can do with this. So just to give you like a high level overview of what the intro would sound like, putting it all together, I'll kind of perform it here. So we would say, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to create a full-time income by becoming a high-ticket remote closer. So what we're going to cover here is, number one, we're going to talk about what if you should start as a remote as a setter or a closer, what types of offers are out there for you to sell, and then number three, how much money can be made. And this is the exact same process that John did to get to his first $10,000 a month in just 30 days. Let's jump in. Now, I'll throw in one thing in here that I think is super important as like a coach, consultant, agency, someone that is looking to generate new clients and new business, is you want to throw in, and I do this sometimes I don't, but you want to throw in a CTA. And what you'll do with the CTA is it would kind of come in right here, and we'll say, I don't know, well, I won't write it in here, but I'll just explain it, is what you want to do is CTA to either book a call with you, to your VSL, something, but it's very, very important here that you keep it short, brief, and to the point, right? So you don't want to sit here and say, before we jump into the video, I have this entire program and we help you do this, this, and this, and I think it will be super beneficial, and, go on this long thing. You want to keep it really short, sweet, simple, to the point. And you want to like front load the CTA, because what it's going to do is, if you look at a retention graph, the majority of people are going to, like, not majority, but a good portion of people will jump off in the first like couple minutes. It's just kind of natural in the coaching education space. So you want to capture as many of those people as possible in the front end, and you do that by getting a CTA out there. So for example, what I would do with remote closing is I would say, now really quickly before we jump too deep into the video, I help people do this every single day. And if you want to just skip to the good part and have me help hold your hand through the process, click the first link down in the description, book a call with my team. With that being said, let's jump into it. Just a very condensed, short CTA that is like, it's very benefit driven, of like, hey, you can just like skip everything here on YouTube and just get to the good part, and I'll hold your hand through the process depending on the offer that you have. That's going to be super important there. So this third part is to be honest, pretty simple, is just going through the information, right? So you, at the beginning, you set it up. Hey, we're going to talk about this, this, and this. And now you just go through each of those things. Now, the reason that we do it in numerical order though, is back to the analogy, right, of guiding people through, is now we can like set, a goalpost almost for every single objective, we'll call them. Like the objective is getting through the video. So now what happens is you have these transitional phrases and you introduce the information and really bring it back to what you said in the beginning, right? So right here, I would say, I would start off and say, okay, so first things first, let's talk about, should you start as an appointment setter or as a closer, right? And what that does is it brings you back and they say, okay, cool. Like we're like 1/3 of the way through. Right? So like when you're set up the 1/3 of the way through, now they can check that off in their head and say, okay, cool, we're 1/3. And then you would get to, okay, so jumping on to point number 2, what types of offers are out there? So now like they're in their head, they're like, okay, cool. Number 2, checking that off. He said we're going to have 3 things. So we're halfway through, or 2/3 of the way through. Right? And then again, you would say, okay, and the last thing here, last but not least, number 3, is let's go over how much money can be made. Now, you don't necessarily always have to, again, like pour into this like number 1, number 2, number 3 thing. Like that's not the most important part, but it is important that you just have like a really strict, like, okay, we're going to the next thing, on to the next thing, on to the next thing. Now, there's a lot of like little secrets that you can throw in here in terms of like retention that I'll make a whole other video about, because I just want you guys to get this part down, just have a framework if you don't have one already. But it's super, super important that you do follow this so that you help the retention, because again, like they want to be led in the right direction and know that they're getting closer and closer to the end of the video. So the last piece here, number 4, is the thing that I talked about. Like this is gonna be the bonus step, right? So as you can see here, like I'm trying to make this as meta as possible, but like at the beginning, I set up, we're gonna talk about this, and the bonus tip. Now we're literally covering the bonus tip, which again is also a very meta. It's an interesting video as I'm going through it. But this is the bonus tip that if you do use this is just like icing on the top. It'll put the rest of this on steroids. So another big no-no with YouTube, right, is you do not want to end your videos with, all right, so thank you so much for watching. This has been this, thank you. You click down below, comment, like just the YouTuber thing, right? The influencer, vlogger, YouTuber thing. You don't want to do that, all right? Again, if you do that, I'm going to come find you. But what you want to do to help you increase watch time, so you don't want people to know that the video is coming to an end. So what is telling people that the video comes to an end? It's when you say things like, all right, guys, that's gonna do it for this video, right? When you say those things, people are gonna leave the video. So if we're looking at retention, and again, like the reason this is so important is YouTube is looking at watch time, but there's actually this secret metric that isn't on YouTube, but like a lot of people have talked about it, is session time. So what session time is it basically is the amount of time that people are on YouTube as a whole from you being that attribution source. And that kind of gets a little nerdy. So basically just what that means is you want them to not only watch all the way through your video, but you want to have them watch another video and another video. And what that does is it also helps you. Not only does it help YouTube because people are staying on the platform, but it helps you because it sends a signal to YouTube that they should keep sending more of your videos out there because you are attributing hours to the platform. But then again, as a byproduct, you are also building that parasocial relationship with your ideal client as well. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna send them to another video by adding context as to why they need to watch the video. So an example for this one, now you understand exactly what, so I would go through all the clips, and instead of, right here, right, I would probably end the video by saying, or this point, I would say, and now you have some context around how much money can be made. Now, instead of saying, again, so thanks so much for watching this video, here's the end, I would add context, and basically the framing is, this video that you just watched will be absolutely pointless unless you watch this other video. So again, instead of just saying like, all right, go watch this video, it's like, so again, in this example, I would say, now you understand exactly what a closer is, but now you need to go find an actual job so you can get to your first $10,000 a month. So click the video on screen right now is a full video around a step-by-step process of where to find the best remote closing jobs. And YouTube, you've probably seen, has an annotation feature where you can basically put a thumbnail of the video and then link them to that video, and they just got to click the video, right? So again, it's just the seamless thing where instead of just ending the video, and if you you'll notice that the majority of big YouTubers do this exact same thing, really more in the education space, I would say, because we're all kind of familiar with this. But this is it's crazy how much you're going to notice this. And maybe they're not pushing to another video. I know a lot of big YouTubers, they will just you'll notice that they won't even do an outro. They'll just finish right here and they won't even do an outro. They'll just be like, good luck, go to the next one, right? And it'll auto play to the next one. So you can test that out if you want to as well. But in a lot of times, this is just the go-to. And the beautiful thing about this, right? And what I said here is if you don't have a specific video in mind, you could make it a little bit vague. So, you can say, now that you know how to, now that you know what a remote closer is, click the video on screen for another video of exactly how you can get better at remote closing. So it can be a little more vague, right, in terms of a specific video, but the secret hack, if you will, to this structure here is what happens is you do this on every single video. And what it does is, let's say, the first one, you might not have a specific video, so you just make it a little more vague. But after you do 10 videos, I had this on the remote closing channel, I had 17, 18, 19 videos that were all leading to each other. So YouTube gives you a metric called end screen element click, and average is 1% for most channels. Mine was 30% because I was just pushing them to the next and to the next and to the next and to the next, which again, it just drastically increases the amount of time that people spend with you, which increases this trust, which increases, the people, just converting into actual clients as well. So this is just a super, super crucial thing to do. I promise you, if you just test this out and try this on some of your other videos, and it'll definitely help you a ton to make sure that you're generating more clients, generating more views, and generating more subscribers. And then the last thing I'll add on to that is you can also throw in a CTA. So you want to start with pushing them off to the video, but then you also want to do a CTA that like tells them to book a call, go to watch another video, which could be a VSL, whatever it may be. But you do want to do the video first and then also make these really condensed, because the end screen elements, like the annotations, they can, I guess they're actually not called annotations anymore, but where you can put the little clickable thing on the screen is I think you can only do it for like 20 seconds. So you have to keep all these things in a really short amount of time. So you would throw in the CTA and that would basically be it there. So I was gonna try to like do this in a really seamless way, but I'm just being honest here. Like, you can use this framework. Obviously it's gonna work for your videos, but on the screen right now, there's another video that just goes over an entire 2025 process that I would follow if you're looking to blow up in 2025, because there's a massive opportunity right now. So click the video on screen. Also, if you want me to hold your hand through the process and help you build your YouTube channel so that you can explode in 2025, click the first, or I guess technically second link down in the description, and we'll see you on the inside.